Hey y'all, miss you. Hope you're doing well. It was really good to see some of your faces last week during our Zoom conferences. And I just want to say that I'm really proud of a lot of you for the work that you did on those essays. I'm really impressed that you persevered through some really difficult situations in order to turn in some really, really fascinating and very well written research papers. So let's talk about this week. All right, so the announcements for this week. You'll be beginning your research on your final essay. So if you click here, it'll take you to the Dropbox for draft 1. So we'll take a look at the assignment description first. All right, so our final research essay. Annotations are due this Sunday. The draft 1 is due next Sunday, and then the final draft isn't due until May 7th. It's worth 30% of your final grade. And I decided to cut down the number of sources you needed to use from 5 to 4. Hopefully that will make this a little bit easier for you all. And because of the pandemic and all of the turmoil that it's caused, I decided to allow you to choose any topic you want for this paper. I think it would be really awful if you had to research something that you are not excited about while all of this chaos is going on. However, you do need to email me your topic choice in order to get it approved. Besides the research, your essay has to include all of the normal things that we use in every one of our essays. And remember, you must add in quotes from all 4 of your sources. So each paragraph needs to have at least one quote from one of your 4 sources. This is the I in PI, or the illustration. And remember that I'm probably not going to be familiar with your sources, so you have to write as though you're teaching me, your audience, new information. This is where the E in PI comes from, the explanation. Of course, you need to cite all of your sources in APA format. So correct citation includes the resources page at the end of your essay with all the sources listed in alphabetical order. And it needs to be 5 full pages with all of the APA style. Okay. So once you've picked your topic, start doing some research so you can begin to formulate your argument. Here, I've linked you to some videos that Purdue OWL has put together, and they're really helpful. So this one is about invention and pre-writing. They're all really short, so take a look at that to help you with getting your ideas together before you start your paper. And then this one links you to a neat little video about the essentials of argument. So I know we've talked about that in class before, but I thought it would be nice for you to have a little refresher video. It's only 6 minutes long. All right. So then you're going to turn in your annotations. This is the Dropbox link. And then here is a link to the assignment description for the annotations. So 40 points, 10 points per annotation. So an annotation is a summary or an evaluation of a source, and it includes a citation at the very beginning that's properly cited in APA style. This is really going to help you when you get down to writing the draft. Okay, so a lot of people said that they didn't really try very hard on the outline, and then it was way harder for them writing the draft, whereas if you had done a really good job on the outline, you basically have your paper written. You just need to make some transitions between your points, and then you have all of your sources cited, and you can just copy and paste those into your paper. So really do a good job on each of these little assignments because it will make it easier for you in the end when you're writing your paper. Okay, so for this assignment, your annotation needs to have the APA citation at the beginning, a summary of the source's main point or idea, an evaluation of the author's argument, so address if the author is credible and if they have a logical argument, and then explain your reasoning. Have 3 quotes, at least, from the source that you could potentially use in your paper, and then explain how you would use this source in your paper. So a tip, if you're not planning on using a source in your paper, don't use it for this assignment. All right, so you need to use complete sentences because a detailed annotation really does allow you to look back at your source and pull directly from it while you're writing your paper, rather than having to find and reskim the source for information. So you can just drag things directly from your annotations into your eventual paper, which will help you a lot. So I've provided a little form for you to use to make sure that you remember all of these points. So you can copy and paste this into a Word document or a Google Doc and then go from here. And then here I have an example annotation. So you all can check this out. Okay, so now let's go to a presentation that I made where I explain some possible research topics. Okay, so you're gonna pick your topic, do your research. By the way, please read your articles. I won't name any names, but it was very clear to me that some people did not read their articles before they asked me questions about how to put those ideas into their papers. You know who you are. Then annotate your articles, outline your essay, draft one, final draft. So that's what's going on for the rest of this semester. All right, so we have some possible research topics. I hope that some of these are interesting to you. I wish that I had time to research every single one of these. Okay, so we can ask should or should not questions. So something like, should evolution be taught in public schools? You can argue either way. Should zoos exist? I think that there could be an interesting argument on both sides of that question. Then going a little deeper than that, what's the history of the zoo? Like, where did zoos come from? Why did they start? You could do some research on that and then I'm sure come up with an interesting argument. What is our society's relationship to captivity? So that's sort of a more broader philosophical question, right? We could talk about zoos and prisons. What's the history behind circuses? Going into more social areas, are carbs bad? In what context are they or aren't they, right? So sometimes we hear carbs are bad, and other times we hear like, no, that they're totally fine. Okay, what's up with contemporary exercise or wellness culture? Okay, so I know a lot of you have told me that you're doing some YouTube workout videos. You know, what's up with those sorts of videos going viral? What's the effect of reality TV dating shows on contemporary romantic practices? The differences between countries' health laws and the effects on the population. So in some countries, you know, is high fructose corn syrup banned or is it allowed? What does that have to do with the health of the population? What's the relationship between social media use and mental health, or maybe social media use and attention span? Does meditation have significant health benefits? The history of body modification. So where did tattoos and piercings come from? What's the history of the relationship between music and spiritual experiences? In general, the opioid epidemic. I'm sure if you start researching that, you'll be able to come to lots of interesting arguments. The relationship between social hierarchy and literacy. The history of sugar production and the link to racism. Relationship between slur use and gender. So if we think about, you know, a lot of slurs against men are actually words that are referring to female attributes, right? So is there a link between gender here? Gender and the video game industry. Toy companies and gender roles. the evolution of gendered colors in Western culture. So pink and blue. Surprise, it used to be flipped. The pink tax. So why does it cost more to get a women's razor than a men's razor? The relationship between natural disasters and nationalism. So thinking about, what's going on right now with the pandemic, or climate change. How is COVID-19 changing perceptions about the prison system? How is COVID-19 affecting the environment? How is it affecting the insurance industry? Was the 2008 bailout warranted, and was it successful? And one funny one, are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable? So there's actually some interesting tax law history here that would, I think, be pretty funny, but also really interesting to research. All right, so I hope that I gave you a good list of topics to get you started thinking about what you want to research. You can absolutely pick any one of those topics that I just listed. Or if you want to pick your own topic, just email me and let me know what you're interested in researching, and we'll make sure that it's a good avenue to take. All right, so as always, email me if you have any questions or concerns, and I will see you all later.